The HD Steel running boards from Barricade would be a great choice for the 2015 and newer Super Crew or Super Cab owners out there who prefer the look and width of a running board compared to a Nerf bar or drop step and would like a sleek and affordable option at just south of $400. Now the Barricade will combine a carbon steel build with that textured aluminum step plate, while the included brackets make install a snap. So figure 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, with a detailed walkthrough to come later in the video. So in my opinion, the HD running boards are going to deliver a very unique appearance in the sea of Nerf bars and standard running boards, and that is this very pre-runner style look with the tapered ends that, in my opinion, really kick things up over those factory running boards, while really not sacrificing width or traction. Now speaking of width, the HD here will deliver roughly 6 to 7 inches of width overall for footing, but with these 2 specific textured aluminum step pads for both the front and rear passengers. Now aside from that, one thing I really do enjoy about these particular running boards are the angular ends here that tend to dive back into the body or the cab on either side, which I think just adds to the appearance more so than a boring stocker or even some aftermarket options that tend to just square off on the ends. However, one could argue the only drawback to that design is that this portion really isn't usable for a step surface, but for most of you guys out there who are just simply entering or exiting out of the front or rear doors, the Barricade HD will perform as advertised. Now, as far as your build is concerned, guys, you're looking at 3/16 inch thick carbon steel sheet metal for, I'd say, 97% of the construction with the HDs from Barricade. And that does include the skeleton underneath here with some lateral supports built in, which will help prevent any sagging from the center of the step itself. Your lone exception to that carbon steel will again be those traction areas, which have been made from aluminum, while the entire running board has been finished off in a textured black powder coat here, more satin I'd say than gloss, and it looks really sharp in person. Now, one thing that did jump out to me about these particular running boards that Barricade didn't mention in the product description are these 2 cutouts here, which to me are just simply begging for some auxiliary lighting, puddle lights, whatever you want to call them, to illuminate whenever you open or close your door. So again, not really described in the product section here, but for me, I'm always looking for ways to customize things or maybe some extras that you aren't getting from the product description. And I think that would be a really cool thing to point out and customize if that is your cup of tea. But if not, you're still looking at a very attractive and very durable option for right around that $400 price point. Now with that said, and despite the ruggedness of the HD here and that carbon steel build, don't get these things confused with a piece of armor like a rock slider, because that's simply not the intention of the Barricade running boards. Instead, these are merely for stepping only. However, if you did want something that can be used as more of a rock slider and also as a step, there will be a bunch of options for you guys to check out on the site if you're after something more along those lines. But let's segue into the installation, and as stated earlier, the Barricade options do kick in the necessary hardware and brackets to get these puppies in place. So again, figure 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and an extremely basic job in the garage or driveway. In fact, if you have a socket set, you should have no problems banging this one out in about 30 minutes to an hour of your time. And to give you a better idea of what's expected with this job, here is a brief walkthrough.
Today we're going to be installing Barricade running boards. To get this install started, we need to remove the factory running boards. So let's get to it. All right, I got a 13mm on my power ratchet here. I'm going to crawl into the truck, and we have 9 nuts to remove. There's 3 here, and 3 back there. And that's going to remove our stock side step. All right, we're under the truck. We're going to remove these 3 nuts right here. All right, we're moving to the middle bracket now. Again, I have a 13mm on our power ratchet. You guys can use a regular ratchet if you don't have one of these. Now that we've got all the nuts off of the brackets, we can now remove our factory side step. We're just gonna simply knock it off of the studs. We're ready to start installing our new side steps. The first step is going to be to place these clear plastic washers over the studs. What that's going to do is create a barrier in between our steel bracket and our aluminum body panel. If you don't use these, there will be corrosion that occurs. So let's get down there and start installing our new side step. Now we're ready to install our new brackets with the provided new hardware. And we're still using a 13mm socket on a power ratchet. We're now ready to put our new side step onto our brackets. Once your side step is onto your brackets, we can come from underneath, slide these plates into the side step, and these are gonna hold the side step to the bracket. All right, so we're gonna turn our bracket sideways and slide it in the channel here. And once it's in, we're gonna lift up just a little bit on the side step to get it to go into the two slots. Now we can go through and bolt up the side step. There's 2 bolts and 2 washers for each bracket, and that's going to be a 10mm socket. That's going to wrap up our review and install. Be sure to check out more at AmericanTrucks.com.